Hi, and welcome to Tremco Live, where we're socially distant but technically connected. I am Marcy Tyler, the Director of Building Science for Tremco, and I'm so excited to be able to join you each and every Friday, where we talk through different types of technology and design challenges. And I'm always excited to be able to introduce my co-host.
And I'm Paul Hugenville. I'm the president of Tremco Construction Products Group, Marcy, a tremendous collection of companies, brands, products, systems, and of course, most important people.
And our people, yeah. Absolutely. So, Paul, 31st broadcast, we're doing pretty good.
We're pretty good.
Yeah.
Did we take a bet early on, like, did we last this long?
I don't know. It's interesting, though. You know, your feedback is great, as always. I like hearing from everybody, and I think there's endless ideas and endless things to talk about.
Yeah, there is. I think, you know, this came about because we love to host people here, and we couldn't. Still can't. This is our way to connect with everybody until such time as we can get people back here, but I suspect we'll still do this.
I think we will. I think it's a nice light way to be able to continue to talk about, like I said, design challenges, technologies, and most importantly, feature our people and, you know, in the way they work together, as you like to say, belly to belly with our customers.
Yeah, and I like being able to have guests. I think that's the other thing. When we brought people here, it really was kind of a Tremco only forum, and our guests make it a lot more interesting.
They do. So once again, we're so appreciative for everyone tuning in with us each and every Friday or whenever you're able to. They are recorded and on YouTube, so you can always catch us afterwards. But if you have a customer, or if you are a customer and you want to be a part of this, we'd love to hear from you, so you can reach out directly to me for that. So we like that for sure. So as always, we've got some slides we like to share so that we can kind of walk through the whole process with all of you. So give me a second here. Our whole theme in the month of December is cold weather. So as we look to ways that we can communicate that, we wanted to make sure that we could share just that, that type of information. I think we've got, there we go. So sorry about that. We had a little glitch with our communication, but I think we're all good now. So as I mentioned, every month we like to go through a different feature or topic. So we've been making our way through, and in the month of December, we wanted to talk about cold and inclement weather. So that was our topic for the month of December. And I love this slide to kind of kick us off. We're changing things up a little bit. So we've been featuring, of course, all of the Tremco Construction Products Group, but we got a brand new image here to really represent that. The power of one. So. Yeah,
and I think the idea behind the images, it's white on the outsides, and then sort of Tremco brings it to life, or perhaps adds the color in the middle. So great work by John Buckley and his team.
Absolutely, I was going to do that too. A shout out to John for sending that over to me. So that was great for him to be able to share that with me. It's interesting though, when we think about cold weather, I thought I would include this picture, and this is a shout out to Steve Silva for sending me over a variety of pictures. So I posted this on LinkedIn as well. Does your job site look like this? And you can see some of those footprints in the snow. So for you Southerners that may not have seen snow, I mean, it's not sand, that is snow. It's interesting, a lot of times Paul and I like to kick off. Last Friday, we had just had a ton of snow. Now it's 55 degrees outside.
Yeah, I think we went from sort of blizzard world to very unusual to, in the middle of December, have a sunny Cleveland day. That does not usually happen.
Yes, it does not. So if our job site wouldn't look like this, it would have melting snow, or at least that's what my backyard looks like right now. What's great though is if your job site looks like this, last week we talked to you about insulated concrete forms from Nudura and how you can utilize those. Thank you to Justin Perry and Grant Morgan for joining us last week and telling us about those situations. One of the pictures up there is our Securac Expert 430. We have lots of great case studies and showing how that can obviously provide a solution in inclement weather. One of the center pictures there is a roofing application, so we're going to be featuring that next Friday. But this Friday we are talking about PUMA as it relates to parking garages and parking structures. So that will be our focus today. What's interesting as we look at all these different types of technologies, I want to once again do a shout out and a representation of our feet on the street. So not only with our sales representatives, but also our technical service reps and those that are regionally located to really out there to help you. So no matter what your weather or your condition, they're there to help you. Paul, one of those pictures is from World of Concrete. So the last time we would have been out and about at World of Concrete. We got Mike Bader up there, based in Texas, and Eric Laboda, who is actually based here in Cleveland. And then, of course, there's so many great videos. I know Corey's Corner, we're going to talk a little bit about that next week for roofing applications. And then that video there that I featured is from Steve Gralla. And you can see what I love there is how to apply Tremco's Volcom EWS Florida-specific application.
Yeah, I like that you're featuring all this right now, Marcia, because, you know, one of the key things about what we'll talk about today is the quality assurance program, QAP, that goes along with it. It's just so critical to have that high quality support. You know, certainly any system like PUMA that sets up so fast and the buckets aren't cheap, mistakes can get expensive.
Right, exactly. And I think that's why, you know, being able to have the capability of both our technical sales reps and our in-field technical representatives is a key part of that quality applicator program and the education of our installers.
Yeah, it's certainly a best practice, especially with these very, very fast systems, would be to always have somebody from our team on site as you're doing job startup, just to make sure things are going as well as you want them to. And the other thing too is I always like to say that, you know, the contractor bid a certain production rate. So you want to make sure they're achieving that production rate. That's very, very important for the contract.
Absolutely. And as always, as we progress through this information, you can always reach out to me individually, but we would like to start engaging with all of you too. So at any point during the broadcast, if you have a question, you can always submit it in the chat box or raise your hands. And then Alyssa's going to let us know if there is a question that's relevant to the topic, or we'll get back to you later on. We definitely want this interactive for all of you, for sure. So some of the information that was provided by Tech Service in a holistic approach is just some things I want to reiterate as we are in those colder months. So make sure you're storing your material in a trailer or a heated conditioned space, definitely up and off the ground. We also want to make sure that our substrates are dry and free of frost or ice before applying any material. These are just some of those basics that we probably all know pretty well. And then, of course, the cure time of liquid applied products are going to increase in the cold. Some of them would, right? So we got to make sure of that. Or if you can use something like a 2-component product, that's going to help with cure time. So just some relevant, great information about cold weather installation that we wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of. And once again, you've got that technical support to give you regionally specific information as always. So as I mentioned today, we're going to focus on that PUMA technology, that great ability to be able to be used in so many different applications, Paul.
Yes, I know we talk about cold weather, but I'm also a big fan in when you get into what I call tight weather windows, because it's just such a fast acting system that, you know, typically in a fluid applied job, Marcy, outside, rule of thumb is you want 3 good days. There's a lot of places you can't get 3 good days, I don't know, ever, or for many.
Everything's not like San Diego.
That's true. Yeah, I wish it was.
I know. Absolutely. So I love the versatility of it. We've got some great information on another person in our organization, Feet on the Street, Stephanie Langle, and she did a blog for Build Meets World. Great resource once again for technical information. I like these because they're quick, easy, and informational pieces of information here. So Stephanie put together your 5-minute guide to PMMA and PUMA technologies. And she talks all about speed, versatility, and durability. So I thought this was a good chance for us to poll everybody today. So we're going to pull up a polling question right now for you so we can gauge your interest here. So what benefits interest you when choosing PUMA? Is it speed, as we talked about, how quickly you can turn that around? Is it the versatility of that product, or is it the durability of it? Or is it all of those reasons why you are interested in utilizing something like a PUMA technology?
Oh, I was going to say all of the above.
So for Paul, it's all of the above.
Oh, there's no doubt. And then there's probably a handful of other features I'd put out there
Oh,
as
yeah.
well?
There's definitely a lot of other features. When we get to our guest portion, we're definitely going to ask, him what are those reasons why he chose PUMA in the systems. So looks like we got a good amount of people that have responded. So we're going to go ahead and share those results. And look at that, Paul, 81% are all of the above, as you did as well. So I think it makes a lot of sense. So depending on what your needs are, your specific needs are, you can then go ahead and choose your system based on that. If it's for all of those reasons and many more, I think that just adds to the versatility of our technologies.
Yeah.
You could go with a polyurethane technology, or in this slide here, you can see that, we're going in the drive lanes with one type of technology, and then utilizing the PUMA in those other areas.
Yeah, that's pretty common to use PUMA in the high stress, what I call the high stress or high wear areas.
And I might have said that backwards, but I think all of you know what I'm saying. Or you're going to text me in a minute that I said it wrong. So. And so, from looking at that, thinking of inclement weather, thinking of installations all over the world, this is a great case study we did all about speed, right? This was in Denver, Colorado, where they needed quick turnaround time. So this is a great way where we can really feature that skill of turning it around quickly, not putting anything out of service for too long. The next one we have here is versatility. So this is out of Portland, Oregon. Where we were doing a water feature. So pretty intricate detailing there, pretty nice area of that Lewis and Clark College School of Law in Portland, and that versatility of being able to do the water feature utilizing the system. And then of course, that versatility of cold weather installation. So we just wanted to share this video here. So we're looking at polyurethane, methacrylate, and then the methyl methacrylate and how they differ in terms of performance. Both of those technologies have speed and versatility and durability, but when you're looking for flexibility, you're going to get a lot more flexibility out of that polyurethane methacrylate. And of course, these are done at 70 degrees, and you can see our PUMA is continuing to expand and elongate. So it gives you that versatility. Now, since we're talking about cold, we wanted to make sure we showed it in the cold box. So now we've got the same thing going on here at negative 20 degrees. You can see how quickly the PMMA actually does break. So we've got that great versatility of elongation even in the cold. And speaking of cold, obviously we're all here today. We want to talk about those installations. As we talked about an installation in Denver, Colorado, we talked about one in Portland, Oregon. We wanted to feature this one here at O'Hare. This was the new car rental center facility where KEDMAT worked on this with Steve Silva, and our very own Steve Pearson was out on this job site. And I love this picture that they captured with the airplane landing in the distance.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool here. So this is that pedestrian walkway, and I believe the temperatures they were installing here were between 14 and 17 degrees, Paul.
That's a hard way to make a living.
Yes. So
probably the wind was probably howling as well.
Exactly.
Off
so
the lake.
I think in this case, what they ended up using is the PUMA initiator to help with that, since we're dealing with those more extreme temperatures for this application. So definitely something to consider when we're looking at different opportunities of weather. We're going to feature a variety of other installers here in the future and how they handle different types of weather, utilizing this great versatile product. Here's a few more pictures of that as we were detailing that area for the shuttle trains at O'Hare. But we wanted to also bring to you a couple of our guests here today. And Paul, I think you appreciate that belly-to-belly picture in the middle there, featuring Dante Marin-Petrie, myself, and of course, Tony Hayes from Tremco, and our customer, Leonard James from the waterproofing company. So welcome, guests, to our show today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
There you go. Say that means Tony and Leonard, turn on your camera, say hello. How are you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Staying warm here in Boston.
Yes, how is the weather there? Are you dealing with cold weather right now?
It was colder during the week. We're above freezing right now, so we were able to start a couple installations that were on pause But we have been dealing with cold weather procedures for installations of different Tremco products that we've been doing around the state.
So tell us a little bit about you guys before we get going. So Tony, why don't you start? How long have you been with us here at Tremco?
It'll be 10 years in July that I've been with Sealants and Waterproofing, covering New England and parts of upstate New York.
And you got a new partner on your team there, Dante Marin Petrie, hoping to take on some of your upstate, well, maybe not your upstate, but some of the New York area for you.
Yeah, he's kind of taken over the upstate for sure. I don't have to go that far away.
And Leonard, how about you? This is your second time on Tremco Live, so thank you for joining us. You joined us in the past as a guest of Brian Iskey's talking all about Will Seal, so we're happy to see your face again on Tremco Live. How about you? What's been your experience?
I'm happy to be back. Pardon me?
What's been your experience in the industry?
Oh, I've been in the industry for 20 years. I'm currently the vice president of the waterproofing company, and we've been using Tremco products for quite some time because of the service that we've been getting from Tony and his team. And the products are just fantastic. That's why we like it. You know, same thing I was saying last time I was on the product, the Will Seal product. You know, it's something that we like because of the service and what the product can do for us as far as, you know, helping us solve some issues and in terms of connectivity and making complete watertight systems.
Well, I think we were talking off screen right beforehand, Paul, about I was going to Boston ever since Tony started to go to an industry event, and we would spend time with Leonard. And I think the first time that was when Leonard filled my ear with ideas. Right? We could work on different things
sheet.
to improve our products.
So have you been listening?
We've been listening for a long time, and I'm excited about a couple things we got coming out here soon. But it's definitely that relationship of being able to understand, you know, what it means to our end user is so critical when it comes to our success.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up about getting feedback from Leonard, because I think 99% of the time that's where we really get direction.
Yep.
What are the pain points and what are the applications that need to be solved that aren't?
So before you guys were able, you weren't able to do the poll. So I thought I'd ask you guys, you know, which benefit resonates with you most about PUMA? Is it the speed, the versatility, the durability, or all of above?
Well, it's all of the above. Yeah. But then, you know, like there's also the price too, you know, which is important for us contractors.
Right. So that helps making that decision, right? And that's where those benefits is when you're going to want to utilize and choose something like PUMA.
That's correct. Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't fit into all jobs, but it certainly can be a lifesaver in the right job.
Yeah, exactly. I know we wanted to feature today one of the projects that you guys worked on together here. So we'll pull that up on screen here. Leonard, did you appreciate the picture that I chose of us?
Was that the last time you were in town? Was that last year?
Yeah, it was last August. No, then I would have saw you in November.
Oh.
So, yeah, I didn't. I'll explain to you later why we couldn't use our group photo from November. So, but we wanted to talk to you guys today and feature this specific project here. Thanks for sending me this information. So it was a plaza waterproofing project. And I know SGH was involved. So here's an overall schematic of it. Do you want to tell us a little bit of why you ended up choosing the PUMA for this plaza waterproofing, and then we'll go into some of the pictures that you provided.
Sure. So the project started, you know, late in the summer, and there were some unexpected challenges from the general contractor when they had to tear the existing deck off. There was asbestos in the existing coating, so the whole area had to be abated, which pushed the schedule out. The other product that was originally specified, it's very sensitive to temperature and humidity, and so that was a big concern for us going into the fall and possibly the winter, where we knew, like Paul said, that sometimes you need 3 good days, and this product you definitely need 3 good days, and we know we weren't going to get 3 consecutive good days. And so bringing in the Tremco PUMA, we're able to get it approved, and we're able to make sure that we got areas installed and we could flip over for some more demolition and then keep the project going. So the product is also very durable. So once it was installed, we were able to protect it with plywood, and trucks were able to drive over the installed areas so that the general contractor could have access to other parts of the site.
Yeah, I've definitely heard about that in terms of the ability, you know, to be able to work around it or near it definitely helps with that.
Yeah, I mean, as Leonard pointed out, we often will return as little as 45 minutes or a half hour after we finish putting the last coating on. We actually return it to full service like that's unheard of.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah. Have you had those types of quick turnaround times that you had to cross your fingers and hope and pray with other technologies, and you didn't have to worry about it with this one?
Yeah, with other technologies, especially with this time of year, you know, the curing times are, you know, much longer than regular applications. So with this product, we're able to, we knew it was going to cure. It's a 2-part product with the initiator. You knew, hey, in 45 minutes, you can definitely go over it. There's no guesswork. All the guesswork on when it was going to cure was taken out by using the initiator. So the workers in the field really liked that part of it. They're able to really dial it in based on the temperature, you know, how much volume or weight we had to put in. And the project went very smoothly. The client was very, very happy that we're able to get the work done in the time frame that they needed it done.
So it was a lifesaver on this, and something you had to flip over. How was that process in terms of flipping it over? Obviously, pretty familiar with the system, so you were able to do that pretty easily. Your relationships probably with the owner, the general contractor, all of that helped, and of course, I'm sure Tony did too with that process.
Yeah, Tony was very instrumental in helping flip it over by getting us all the information we needed, and, you know, projects that the PUMA had been used on, references, and just being able to talk about the product. We had a meeting at the very beginning where we met with UMass Facilities and SGH, and we brought them all the information, and they were quite happy with it. And a couple of days later, they approved it. And then the ability of Tony to get us the shop drawings, the detailed drawings, that helped a lot.
Yeah. So in these pictures here that you included, what are we looking at here? Tell us a little bit about what's going on here.
Okay, so in the picture on the right, that's the we installed the under asphalt system. So it's with the primer, the base, and the gravel broadcast into it. Well, I'm sorry, primer base top with the gravel broadcast into it. On the picture on the right, that's all base coat right there being applied. And the picture on the left, really can't see much. It's kind of small, so it looks like they're just applying the base as well in an area where we're going to have some sidewalks. And the general contractor was going to come back and install some rebar. I think you can see it in the picture on the right, where you've got the rebar and the curb and the formwork. So this is one of the areas we had to turn over to them pretty quickly, because you can see in the back, there's like a pile of dirt in the back there. So they wanted to start backfilling that area because it had been dug down, and they wanted to start backfilling that area. So after we completed that area in one day with the complete system, the general contractor put plywood down over the waterproofing, and they just drove trucks straight back and forth over the waterproofing.
Wow, that's amazing.
And and it didn't damage any of the waterproofing. It was, after they took the plywood off, it was perfect. We did a EFVM test after that happened. We did an EFVM test before putting the plywood on, and we did an EFVM test afterwards, and there were no breaches.
That's very good. You sent a couple more pictures that I included here of just the work going on, and I think you told me that consistently it was in the low 30s when you guys were working on this project here.
Yes. Yep, that's correct. So in this area right here, you can see we're going around a couple of manholes. And so you can see the base coat, and they're applying the top coat. And in the middle picture, you can see the gravel broadcast into the top coat.
So tell me, when you're looking at system selections like this, you're obviously looking at the quick turnaround time, durability, and temperature for your choices. Did you uncover any other design challenges or installation challenges on this specific project?
No, this one was fairly straightforward. It was really more of the temperature issue and the speed of which we needed to get the membrane down and turn it over to the general contractor.
Leonard, I can comment on one thing that took place on this job that I don't think there's too many other products could have dealt with, and that was the profile of the concrete. When they scarified the concrete on this job, they ripped up the concrete significantly, and it was certainly much rougher than a typical 3/4 CSP, and this product was able to handle the irregularity in the concrete that I don't think too many products could have handled.
No, that's correct, because a lot of the other products out there are fabric reinforced, and you definitely could not have used a fabric reinforced membrane on this application. There were a couple of areas. There were a couple of areas where we had to end up using the trowel grade because the areas were just so beat up. We ended up using the trowel grade to kind of fill in some of those areas, and that worked out really well.
That's awesome. That shows some of that versatility. Adhesion testing, were you guys going out there and assisting with that as well?
They had a third party do the adhesion tests, but everything passed with flying colors.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely see that. We'll have to demo that one of these days, Paul. That tenacious adhesion.
Yeah, it's when it goes on, it stays there.
Yes, I think you said that earlier.
For sure.
You don't want to make a mistake, right? Because it's going to take something to take that off. So, Leonard, as PUMA started to come out into North America and we started to use it, did you ever get any objections because people were worried because it was considered a new technology or anything like that?
Yeah, some people just aren't familiar with it. Some people just aren't familiar with the technology either. Other people think of it as it being like just the PMMAs, which are quite brittle. They don't have the elongation that the PUMA does. So it's been a challenge trying to educate some people on this product. Some people take to it. Some people, they like what they like. They like what they know, and they stick with that.
Well, and that's, I think, what's interesting. A few episodes ago, we did just that. We talked about how long PUMA, because how people don't like to use something that's new, how long we've been looking at and looking at this specific technology. Yeah,
and it's really had over a 20-year history, but starting in Europe.
Yeah.
And primarily starting, it's interesting, the application that you showed here today, Marcy, but its heritage was really bridge decks.
Yeah.
And bridge wear courses. So its original design intent was to handle very high stress, high durability, high wear environments, and also cold weather. So it was very prevalent in some major projects all throughout Russia, Eastern Europe, where it gets below zero and it stays there for months.
Yeah. Leonard, Tony, have you guys ever seen one of our older videos where we show like a tank going over it? I think is one of the videos that we got when we first brought this technology over.
Yeah, and I think
I haven't seen that one.
I'll send it to you, Leonard.
The plywood thing reminds me too, is PUMA waterproofs quite a bit of the metro system in Toronto.
Yep.
And they have a test for the waterproofing where they put all the ballast on and then the rails, and then they have to simulate like so many millions of passages of rail cars going over, up and down, and really pounding the daylights out of it because of the vibration that comes down. So it's interesting that this project had that truck traffic, and obviously really stood up to that really well.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. It makes me that durability is impressive, obviously just from that type of test. I'm glad Paul brought up Toronto, Leonard. I think you might have a request of Paul when COVID's over. Do you remember your request?
We're supposed to go to Toronto to take a tour of the silicone factory, right?
He wants to, we used to always say we were going to rent a trailer, like an RV, and we were going to do a road trip from Boston to Toronto so that he could get a tour of that facility.
Well, I'm dying to meet you up in Toronto because right now they're not letting me. Okay, once we're let back into Canada, Marcy, that's a sign that things are getting better.
Yes. So there you go. We're going to honor that. We'll take a road trip.
Absolutely.
Paul will meet you in Toronto. And Maha too. Because you haven't met Maha
yet. That's a whole story for another time.
It is.
That's quite a plant up in Toronto.
It is, yeah. Yeah, okay, well, great. Well, thank you guys for being able to join us today, talk about PUMA and how it solved a lot of the issues you were having on your cold project, but not only that, but obviously the versatility of that specific project. So thank you both for joining us here today. Really appreciate it. Good seeing you virtually, of course.
Great, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks.
Thanks, Marcy. Paul. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. So Paul, great way to explain our PUMA, show that versatility, cold weather. I always like hearing it from the actual installer as well, and the estimator at that.
Well, and you have that very simple video that shows 300% elongation.
Yeah.
I don't know, what was the temperature, 0 or?
I think it was -20 if I remember correctly. Yeah.
So versus very little elongation.
Yeah.
And when you get into those vehicular scenarios, you need that flexibility because those just stand on a bridge, right? When a truck goes over it, you feel a tremendous amount of flex.
Well, I like what Tony said too, was that, obviously it's not for every application. And I think that's the beauty of being able to either dial in or dial out whatever it is that you need, or to utilize different technology that we are able to provide in different applications.
Yeah, and I think, Tony got hit on it today, which is a lot of times you think of jobs, you're going to get to a certain part of the job when the weather's still nice, and then you start getting into later September, October, November, and that's where PUMA can often come to the rescue.
Absolutely, yeah. That temperature can get in the way, but PUMA certainly can solve it. Well, Paul, I wasn't able to put up all my Christmas lights because of weather, but today it's 55 degrees.
And all weekend, pretty warm.
And the weekend's gonna be pretty warm, so that's what I'm gonna head out and do here in a couple hours.
All right.
So once again, everybody, thank you for joining us on Tremco Live. We're really excited to have you be a part of it and wind down your week.
Thank you very much. Be safe. We'll see you next week.
Thanks.